Hi everybody. Okay, I would like to talk about the online course. Okay, topic is English reading skills. Okay, there are two major skills of reading in preparing you for exams. Okay, let's pick IELTS, International English Language Testing System, and also DSE as an example. Okay, the first skill today is about skimming, or we call it quick reading. Okay, skimming means quickly reading a text to get only its main idea. To skim effectively, you need to read only a part of the material. Okay, remember when you, like others, um, are getting older and older, you are going to come across a lot of reading materials. Okay, and your essay is going to be longer. So if you to understand the main idea of the long essay, okay, you have to try to use the skimming technique to get the main idea. What does it mean? Okay, it means you don't need to read every word of the essay. Just skim through the essay by having some techniques in order to get the main idea. So in the coming few slides, you will know more about this. Okay, there are four major skills, four major steps of skimming. Okay, number one, read the first paragraph attentively to get an idea of what will be discussed in the test. First paragraph is always the important. Okay, so number two, read the first and sometimes the second sentence of each paragraph. We call it the topic sentence of each paragraph. They give the main idea of the paragraph. Okay, so number three, after you have read the first sentences, your eyes should drop down to the end of the paragraph, looking for important pieces of information such as dates and names. Okay, so remember when you finish reading the first sentence, okay, normally you just go through it very fast, the paragraph, and then just focus on some important dates and names. Okay, so the last one, the last skill. Read the last paragraph attentively as it may contain the summary. So the first paragraph and the last paragraph, okay, you need to read them in detail. For each paragraph, you just read this first line, the topic sentence, okay, of each paragraph, and then try to skim through the rest of the paragraph, highlight the main key points, okay. So there are four major skills here. Okay, here is an essay. Okay, it is about capitalism. Okay, can you see that? There are one, two, three, four, five, six major paragraphs. The first is about the introduction, and the second and third paragraphs is under the class division, and the second last and the last paragraph is under the heading of project profit motive. So you can see that I highlight the first paragraph. It is going to be read attentively, and the last paragraph also it it is highlighted as well. Okay, so you can see that. Okay, in the second paragraph, the third paragraph, and the fourth paragraph. Okay, we just read the first sentence of the paragraph and try to drop down to the end, looking for key details. Okay, so for the whole essay, I just need around 1 minute to read the highlighted sentences. Then I can get the main idea. Okay, the second skill today is about scanning. Okay, scanning is quite different from skimming. Skimming is for the main idea. Scanning means searching for specific phrases in the text to answer some questions. Okay, so like a scanner, you scan the key words, key points. Okay, so that you can answer the questions. Okay, the next one, how to scan. Okay, yes. Okay, number one is trying to underline the important information while reading the text. Okay, there are three major ideas. Okay, dates, numbers, and names. Okay, they are key information. Number two, when you read the question, identify keyword and scan the text for it. This way, you will find the answer more quickly. So sometimes, okay, when you're trying to apply the scanning technique, okay, you need to read the questions first and then go back to the essay. Okay, question and test, and then try to get the answer. So like locating treasure of the essay. Okay, treasure hunting. Okay, process. Okay, so still the same essay is that still about the what is capitalism. Altogether, there are several paragraphs. Okay, the question is number one, what is capitalism? Number two, who make profits from utilizing the working class? Okay, what's the motive for capitalism? The first answer is social system. Okay, number two is about the capitalists. Okay, number three, okay, what's the motive for capitalism is profits. Okay, so you can highlight the works. Capitalism, what is capitalism? Okay, capitalism is the social system, blah, 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 who make profits, okay? Profit, you can highlight the profits, okay, in the third paragraph. Okay, the capitalists live off the profits they obtain from exploiting the working class, blah, blah, blah. Okay, the last paragraph, the first sentence. In capitalism, the motive for producing goods and services is to sell them for profits and to satisfy people's needs. What's the motive, okay, for capitalism? The motive, blah, blah, blah. Then you can locate that the answer is the profits. Okay, this is the way to do scanning. Okay, read the question, go back to the main text. Okay, if there are similar word, okay, exact word or similar word, then this should be the answer. This next slide, there's an essay. Okay, it's talking about are electric cars really eco-friendly? So you can read the essay 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, there are 6 paragraphs about this. More in more detail, but the idea is, okay, what is the aim of this test? To discourage people from visiting Singapore, to prove that electric cars are less eco-friendly than fossil fuel powered machines, to show that we need to count the emissions of power stations to see how green an electric car is. Okay, we need to skim over the test. Remember the first paragraph, the last paragraph, and the first sentence of each paragraph. Okay, so you can easily get the answer. Okay, you can see that the sentence, okay, in italic at the bottom. But what about the bigger picture? Should we be factoring in the emissions of power stations when working out how green an electric car is? The logical answer is yes. Okay. So the answer is C. You can see that to show that we need to count the emissions of power stations to see how green an electric car is. Okay, so we're talking about the emission of power stations and the green, okay, how green an electric car is. Okay, so easy to get the aim of the main test. Two for scanning because it's not about the main idea, it's about the keywords. Okay, when the owner of the electric car went to Singapore, he received a rebate, a fine, or a fine of around blah blah blah. So you can go back to the test and find similar words. Instead of an expected rebate of around blah blah blah, he received a fine of the same amount for being a gross polluter. Okay, so okay, they received a rebate or a fine. You can see that. Okay, to answer this question correctly, okay, you can see that it is about B. Okay, so you can read the first paragraph here. And this question, unlike the previous one, requires specific detail, amount of money. To answer it, you should scan a test for works of $10,800 and $50,000. Okay, don't read the test again. Just search these two keywords. Once you have found a direct sentence, really attempt to get the right answer. So it's not talking about rebate. Instead of means not referring to this one. Okay, so we are referring to the fine of the same amount. So it is a fine of around US $10,800. Okay, the answer should be B. Okay, to prove that electric car was a gross polluter, the authorities in Singapore calculated the blah 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 of generating the electricity to charge the car. Okay, after you skim over the article, you should know that the Singapore authorities and charging car were mentioned somewhere in the middle of the test. Okay, you can go back to some slides before. Moreover, you have another clue. The answer should be after the answer to the question 3. So you can find the right answer by these keywords. Okay, authorities in Singapore and electricity to charge the car. So you can have the sentence. The Singapore authorities calculate the carbon cost of generating the electricity that will be used to charge the car. So the answer is very clear. The correct answer is carbon cost. Okay, like you can go back to the original sentence and then put the keywords there. To prove that electric car was a gross polluter, the authorities in Singapore calculate the carbon cost of generating the electricity to charge the car. So quite easy. So remember, as I mentioned before, okay, you just use the keyword approach. Okay, so the underline the keywords of the sentence and then go back to the original essay and then you say that oh, Singapore authorities charging car is similar to authorities in Singapore, and charging car is talking about electricity to charge the car. So you can easily get back to the question, get back to the sentence of the main test. Then you can see that oh, the carbon cost. Okay, the noun phrase is the answer. Okay, is it quite easy? Okay, I hope so. Okay, these are all generic skills for tackling IELTS and also the SE as well. Okay, so you can apply, okay, or transfer these skills to the local exam. Okay, but just some tips for DSE reading. Okay, if you are the DSE takers, candidates to this year, so these two tips are very important for you. So the main problem that examiners saw in the reading section was that students either just paraphrased the sources to answer the question or did not provide any evidence from the sources and just wrote down their opinion. Okay, remember for the ASC reading, sometimes you need to read read the test in detail and give the answers in short form, short sentences, or in complete sentences. Quite different from IELTS. For IELTS, you just have the MC questions, but for DSE reading, you have to give the give the evidence in not just copying the sentences. Okay, so and also this is the trickiest part about reading comprehension. So we are inclined to paraphrase or rely on our opinions where we don't understand the text. We must read. Okay, so that's precisely the skill that paper one is testing us on. The examiner expects to see not only opinion but also evidence from the test to back it up. Students who choose to do only one or the other have scored rather poorly. That means you have your own opinion, but you're trying to give the evidence to support your own idea. Okay, so remember, evidence seems more important to answering DSC reading comprehension questions. So remember, okay, of course there are differences between the IELTS and DSC, but you can try to use both scanning and also the skimming techniques in both reading examinations. I would like to highlight some sources of information for you. There are three here. I'll sub add this email, web link. The second one is our essentials, and the last one is my DSC lab. So you can click the link, and then you can see more information. Okay. This is the last of the slide. Thank you so much. Okay. So remember, our online English courses are waiting you at this special time. So contact us for more information. So thank you once again for joining this very brief introduction of our honor clause. Okay, bye bye. Take care.